Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Ottawa Senators franchise mode series right here on NHL 18. And today, following the off-selling, the off-selling? Is off-selling a word? We traded Mike Hoffman and others in the last episode. We wrapped up the regular season, and now it's time. We've arrived. I'm butchering this intro. I'm gonna leave it in. Not because I'm lazy and don't want to redo it, but because it adds some character and personality, and it lets you know that I'm not perfect. Damn it. Anyway, let's do this, shall we? Now, there's no real set plan heading into the draft. The re-sign phase, we got it all figured out. We already have everybody re-signed. It's just draft, free agency. What are we going to do? I don't know, but now is the time to find out. However, there was the comment and the overwhelming opinion, from what I could tell, that it might be a good idea to trade up for one Alexis Lafreniere, which I do agree with. However, that is completely dependent on whether or not any teams want to do business. So Detroit, for example, are you willing to do business? You are not. So Lafreniere is not happening if he goes number one. Minnesota, are you willing to trade? You are not. That is not happening if they don't want to trade. Dallas, do you want to make a deal? You do not. And that leaves the Golden Knights. Do you want to make a trade? You do not. Here's the thing. As Primo goes number one overall, 82 overall power forward. Interesting pickup there, Daniel Primo. Here's the thing. The only way we were more than likely going to get Lafreniere under these circumstances is had we kept Hoffman. I still feel like we got a decent return for Hoffman. Someone who didn't have, Mark Stone levels of talent or, trade value. I wouldn't say talent. He was just underperforming this season. Oh, boy, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You see the trade value of our 5th round pick as compared to their pick. They don't want to trade that pick. The only way we're getting Lafreniere is more than likely if we give up Stone. Duchesne and a first isn't going to be enough. I would love to have Lafreniere on this team, but is Mark Stone and a 1st round pick, 5th overall, worth it? Probably not. Kind of, but probably not. If we're going to work out a deal for Lafreniere, it's going to be after he's drafted because the value of said pick is way too high. So let's go ahead and sim to our selection. Zacharias goes 2nd. Dallas will probably take Lafreniere here, and they do. Medium elite, 75 overall as the 3rd pick. Vegas goes with Postma. So that leaves us, of course, the other person inside the top 5. But the real question is, what is Lafreniere's value with the Dallas Stars? And whether or not we can work out a deal is pretty dependent on that, as he is worth one Miro Heiskanen. He and Heiskanen have the same value. You look at the ridiculous value of Klingberg, Sagan, and Ben. Can we work out a deal here is the question. And again, it would take a Mark Stone and somebody better. I just don't think it's going to happen. It would be great to have him on this team. I don't understand how Dallas finished so poorly. Let me take a look at our trade value we get on that 1st round pick. More than likely we'll be able to draft someone that has more value than that, I would hope. So let's see who's available and whether or not this is going to work out. The final player is Reagan. Ian Reagan of the Lethbridge Hurricanes, who is an AI-generated player from all I can tell. He should be, at least. So Ian Reagan's the pick. We just have to hope that by some miracle he's not completely terrible. Especially, too, because we have this Russian goaltender, Sergei Nazarov, who is he's a guaranteed elite. So when looking at our goaltending situation, of course, it's not as bad as it once was. We do at least have some options, even though Craig Anderson is gone. What am I talking about? We traded him. So we do have Kadri. So, of course, that's not exactly a necessity to get another goaltender, but the trade value could be nice. Do I want to trade a first-round pick in Kadri for Lafreniere? Not really, when Shesterkin's hardly a guarantee. But then you look at the values of Skinner and Gustafsson and their overalls. We have decisions to make. And like I said, we don't exactly have a set plan. So what we are going to do is we are going to take Ian Reagan with the 5th overall selection. Please, for the love of God, still be a medium elite. Thank you, and he's really good. 75 overall for a 5th round pick. A 5th overall pick. My goodness, am I on top of my game today. He's a really good player, though, especially for an 18-year-old. So the question of whether or not I could get Lafreniere at this point, well, let's take a look at Reagan's value. Let's take a look at Reagan's value. And it is pretty damn good, if not the same as one Alexis Lafreniere's trade value. The question, of course, is whether or not that's worth doing, considering they don't want to trade Lafreniere, and we would have to give up more to be able to get him. They do want Reagan, though. So do I think one way or another that I could pull off a trade for Alexis Lafreniere? I do. Is that worth it? Probably, because in terms of high-end prospects, we don't have that many on offense. On defense, I mean, it's kind of the same story, but we do have Chabot, still a prospect, Dobson, and Cal Foote. So I think for now, because I don't really expect Dallas's opinion to change as far as their interest in him, I think for now what we'll do is we'll keep Ian Reagan. We'll get to, I don't know, a little bit further in the future. I mean, we still have Colorado's 1st round pick, by the way. It's 30th overall, but we still have quite a few picks in this draft. And I think I'm just going to go for it with all of these picks to see if we can find a steal. I mean, there is also the chance of moving up in the draft, but I'm just not sure how worth it that is. In terms of a guarantee, actually, it might be worth it to go in to get Nazarov, because we know for sure that he's an elite. He'll have more value than anybody else here unless they're also medium elite. We know Quentin Byfield isn't. So then you look, I mean, Gushchin is good, Goulet's alright, Ko is also okay. But talking about the players that would be available at the start of the 2nd round, there is really no guarantee. There's Gilroy here, who is not that good. You know what? I think we might try to trade up to the 11th pick. So let's see here. Washington selects Dal Cole, 73 overall. Medium top 6 to Penta as a 72. Arizona there. I don't want Thomas Tatar. Marsh is okay. You know, the talent hasn't dropped off a cliff in this draft yet, which is kind of surprising. And Vancouver goes for Lowe. So the Vegas Golden Knights do not want to trade that pick. Do the New York Rangers want to trade the 12th pick? That'd be incredibly helpful. They don't. Okay, this is starting to become a bit of a challenge. Carolina, please? Of course not. Well, I know they don't want to trade the pick, but value-wise, I know it will be worth it for us. So I might be willing to try and make this work if it can work at all. So we have the Colorado pick that they want, and we have our 2nd round pick as well. Will that go through? The answer is no. How much more do I have to give up to make that happen, though? Let's say we give up the Minnesota 4th. That won't be enough, will it? Whoops. Wanted to go all the way down to proposed trade. Yeah, see, this is the issue with them not wanting to trade the pick. I would really prefer to get that Russian goaltender. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. I'm going to have to give up a ton to do it. So I think what we'll do is we'll just sim to our picks. We will go through the rest of this draft. I mean, I could quickly, go through for, look for guarantees as far as what teams have whom on the trade block and maybe being able to guarantee a bit more value. Screw that. I mean, then again, the Bruins are a great example with Heinen and DeBrusk, both being RFAs who didn't play last year. Let's just go for it. Maybe. Yeah, because Riley has too much trade value. Let's go for it. Let's make these selections. We'll try to get a little bit of depth into the team, and we'll see what happens from there as we get an offer for Palmieri, which I'll decline. If I want anybody, I will go out and get them myself. Thank you. So let's clear up the block so we don't get stuck with a ton of offers. Like I said, we'll risk it with the rest of our draft picks. We'll see who we get. Hopefully we can find a steal or two. and then we will revisit the idea of going for a Lafreniere, potentially through trade, as this does not look like the draft to keep our picks at all. Oh my god. Remember when I said it was kind of surprising that the skill hadn't dropped off that much? Oh, it's dropped off. It's dropped off by a lot. Do I really want to look for a steal in this draft? I know that they'll be there, but now I can't help but think maybe trading the picks that we have left might be the best way to go, because I don't know who we could possibly... I mean, oh boy. So the fun of it, just going for it and hoping to get somebody, is there. But the logical idea of not really having a guarantee through the rest of this draft, you know, the logical idea of trading our picks seems like a fantastic idea now at this point in time. I have to admit. It's funny how much it scouted out players from the States as well. You would have thought this was Nations United. Right. Let's take a look around the league really quickly then. Let's do it. Let's take a look around the league then, shall we? So, Arizona has Lindgren and Cousins, no thank you. Kovanov, Comtois, and Morand, I mean, no thank you. The Bruins again have Heinen and DeBrusk as RFAs. That could potentially work out. I'd prefer to not trade within the division, though. Calgary doesn't have anybody. We might be stuck with these draft picks. I mean, there might not be anybody half decent available, although Connor Timmins, Colorado's still looking to get rid of Connor Timmins, and I'm not even going to second guess this. I was very tempted to get him back. He was going to be the return until we figured out that we could get Tyson Jost. So we'll trade you your first round pick back. Is that enough? It's not. But it shouldn't take that much more. How about our 5th round pick? What do you say? Do we have a deal? Still no. We'll try the 4th. Again, we'll nickel and dime them as much as we can. 4th round pick. Still doesn't go through. It's a bit off. How much is a bit, according to Joe Sakic and the Colorado Avalanche? Is a 4th and a 5th enough? It is! Connor Timmins, welcome to Ottawa. Because Lord knows it wasn't looking like there was anything close to a guarantee of a half-decent player. Kotkaniemi would be another tremendous pickup. So let's see if we can get him and just get that guarantee. So we'll use our 2nd round pick. We'll use the 3rd round pick as well. Is that enough? Oh my god, it is. I probably gave them a little bit too much, but that's okay. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, welcome to Ottawa. We'll continue to take the players that nobody else wants for whatever reason. That's fine by me. We will build this team through other teams' garbage, because one man's trash is another man's great defenseman. As we have Ryan Merkley. Oh my god, Montreal, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Bergevin, you're out of control. Trying to trade Kirby? Trying to trade Merkley? I mean, I almost have to do this just to rip off Montreal. I don't think I can pull off getting both of them. But imagine. Just imagine. Yeah, I won't be able to pull off getting both of them. I don't even know if I can pull off getting one of them. I'm going to go for Kirby. Kirby Datch. So let's see, a 2nd and a 3rd. Ottawa would have too many skaters. Okay, that's fine. I can tack on somebody. I can tack on somebody that we don't really want to use. That's fine by me. Like Wells. 59 overall, 20 years old. That's perfect. I can kick Wells out of here. He is not under contract. That's okay, though. I can still use Wells. I can. We can do this. So, in terms of moving somebody, who do we have on defense here? Is there anybody who it makes sense to just kind of get rid of? That doesn't have a year left on their contract? 2 years, Batherson, Gregor, Gersich. If I trade them Shane Gersich, he's going to rip me to shreds, isn't he? Isn't he? Why do I have a feeling he would rip me to shreds in the future? Alright, Montreal. You get away with it this time. Bergevin, someone's going to rip you off for those prospects. Unfortunately, it cannot be me. I don't want to use Grant Mishmash in 2 series. Ty Smith? 74 overall, 20 years old. I'll take Ty Smith. If we can make this happen, New York, I will gladly take Ty Smith. Now, I know that I'm going to have to use Wells again, and one of those forwards. Eastern Conference, though. All right, Western Conference teams only. Let's play it safe, and if there's nobody else, we'll just make the picks here. So let's see. St. Louis, do you have anybody? You do not. Let's see. Vancouver. Nope. Vegas? Nope. And Winnipeg? No. Okay. So what picks do we have left is my question. What picks do we have left? We have Colorado's second and third, our own third, a fourth, sixth, and a seventh. In terms of getting anybody worth value, that is not really going to happen with those picks alone, which means it's pretty much low risk to just make those selections and hope for the best from that point. So we did well to pick up a couple of extra prospects that'll help us out for sure. But for now, or from this point on, oh my God, every time I plan on just saying, okay, let's do it, I look at who else has been drafted, and this draft class is looking terrible. Gogolev and Selleck were decent, but oh my God, this is not good. Gilroy was okay at a low elite, but, damn. All right, well, is there somebody that I'm feeling confident about in terms of drafting here? I think Lupul, that would just be wishful thinking, but it might be worth it because he's 20, and maybe there's something there. Finneganov. I mean, there's Josh Moore that we know nothing about. Kevin Lupul. Why do I think you're going to be like a low top 9? More than likely a low top 6. But why do I believe that you're not going to be that good? Kevin, why is that? Why do I believe that you're going to be hot garbage? What makes me think that? There are a couple of American players where, again, is our scout, was he just solely fixated on scouting the U.S.? I have no faith in this draft. I don't. Okay, I'm sorry. Like I said, no set plan, but this is why. Because if you come in with a set plan, then you get thrown off your game. You got to take the punches as they come, and unfortunately, this game's throwing a lot of punches right now in terms of giving me opportunities to completely mess it all up, and I'm not going to do that. So, the issue is that we have 50 contracts, right? That is the issue. Who happened to be terrible this year? Vegas was somewhat terrible. You're not going to want to trade draft picks next year, though. That's unfortunate. It's kind of what I was looking for. Anybody, does anybody, hey, Vancouver! My old buddy Bim Jennings. I know it's Jim Benning. It's a meme. Stop it. How would you like to trade for some picks next year? So what am I offering? A second and 2/3. Fourth and well, you know what? Let's, what do you say? What do you say? So a second this year, 2/3. You know what? I'm going to protect this a little bit more, even though I know this will probably go through. Will that work? No. How about that? Thank you. I'll take it. They get extra draft picks, but from what I can tell, they get extra draft picks in an absolutely terrible draft. Yeah, they took Kammerer. He's Garbo. It's fine. I didn't mean to sim the next pick because that means I can't take a look at the draft, but that's okay. You know why? Because then when we are in the playoffs in the future, oh my God, I still have a 7th round pick. Actually, here, never mind. You know what? Screw it. Let's do it. Did anybody get a crazy good steal? Or did I mean, Loktionov's kind of meh. I mean, look, odds are, as you see how much garbage we're sifting through here, I made the right choice to just get the picks for next year. I would have gone for a prospect, but hey, it didn't make much sense. Aside from a medium starter, a couple of low elites that there was no guarantee I would have drafted, overall we made the right choice. No doubt about it. We got the draft picks for next year. We also picked up some prospects directly, which will help out quite a bit. So yeah, I'm not seeing anybody too crazy, but I know if I don't look through the rest of this, there was a ton of low elites. I would have had a half decent chance. It would have been a 50-50 chance of a low elite or hot garbage. So I'm good with our decision. Quite good with it, but you never know. If I don't look through the rest of this, someone will be like, "Hey, there was a medium franchise selected in this spot." So yeah, you should have kept the pick. Oh my God, Lupul was actually pretty good. Of course he was. Well, there you go. I was wrong. Lupul was great. What are the odds that Lupul was going to be great? Pretty damn slim. Let's be honest. How many? No, if any of you were like, I knew he was going to be medium top 6, you're a filthy liar. You are a filthy, filthy liar. Go take a bath. Wash your ass. You filthy. Stop it. You did not know. There was just as good of a chance as him being low top 6 or even low top 9, and you know it. So don't pull that shit with me. Okay, good. I'll stop talking down to you now. Is there a late steal here? Whole bunch of 70s for Rick Pietrangelo. What about Lawrence Gratton? Not great. Is there anybody here who wants to be half decent? Now, I know I'm sorting by time scouted, but hey, that's because I need to get as much information about these players as possible. Calvin Randall's hot garbage. Do I use the term hot garbage a lot? Yes, but it's applicable in every single one of these situations because none of these guys are good. Like, at all. Damn. Alright, who's the best just projected player? I'll take a medium top 9 at this point, or an exact top 6. We have Edgar O'Sullivan. Every team needs a good Edgar. Or we have a Trevor McKenna, who's 18 years old and probably has a better chance. But you know what? Edgar's probably a 65. So I'll take Edgar. Good old Ed. Hey, he's a 69. Ha. Memes. He's a low top 6 as well. And that does it for this draft as we take someone 5th overall and 216th overall. There is still the possibility of drafting, or not drafting, that possibility's gone. I stand corrected. There is still the possibility of potentially trading for Alexis Lafreniere, unless, of course, we're happy with who we ended up with, which I kind of am. Reagan's okay. And again, when it comes to the re-sign phase here, there's really not much to do. You look at the expiring contracts. We're letting go of Callahan. We're letting go of Cassian. I might bring Borowiecki back, but I'll give him a chance to make money elsewhere. Lucic, McCormick, Perron, and Spencer Moe are all out the door. I'll probably end up signing Wells, and then with goaltenders, it's just Anton Khudobin that we're going to let go of for the moment. So the re-sign phase, just like that, is over and done with. We have $16 million in cap space to work with. For those of you who don't know, that's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. Of course, it helps when you get rid of the likes of Mike Hoffman. So the question now is whether or not there's anybody good in free agency that it would be worth splashing the cash on as a rebuilding team. Florida. Paging, Florida. Florida, what are you doing? Florida. I know what you're saying, Barzal. He's an RFA, so screw that. Florida kind of screwed up, though. What do you do in Florida? Oh, my God. So will I be going after Henrik Borgstrom? Probably. That's it. Probably a smart idea. When it comes to goaltending, I'd rather go with Shesterkin and Ranta just because Shesterkin still has room to develop. But I do want to take a look at our goaltending situation. Actually, then again, we kind of know. Stuart Skinner and Gustafsson are both going to be competing for a backup spot next year. So when it comes to signing somebody like a Hayden Hockey, it's really not worth it because he's not going to get much better. So, and also, too, when it comes to signing someone like Anton Khudobin, I'd rather just see the in-house prospects that we already have and whether or not they can get better. Connor Ingram at a low starter still has 74 as an RFA. He's not really worth bringing in. So for goaltending, we're good. On defense, are there any decent prospects? There is Juleson, but he is an RFA, and it would cost a second-round pick for Noah Juleson. Noah, I got to admit, you did pretty well for us in the Montreal series, but I don't see you getting any better than you are right now, which isn't necessarily an issue because you're solid defensively, and you're a great skater. Oh, I can't give up a second-round pick for you, though, Noah. I just can't. A second-round pick, you aim for higher than a third-pairing defenseman. I'm sorry. Ryan Murray's there as well. You also have Borgen, who's not looking like he's going to progress this time, 23 and a 73. However, Rasmus Sandin, who was a second-round pick of the Rangers, is a UFA. So we'll throw our name into the hat there. The Florida Panthers also looking to do so. Of course, we also have some contract spots up now. And actually, I need to get the exact number just in case. But from the looks of it, free agency-wise, it's pretty much just going all in for Borgstrom. We're at 43 contracts. 43. 43. 43. 40. I'll stop. I was going to say plus 3. On defense here, though. Is there anybody? So it's like you have Healy, Siemens. Is that Ryan Shea? Ryan Shea. 78 overall at 23 years old. He'd be a half-decent addition, but of course we have plenty of players kind of like him already in the system. You have Joseph Secchione. It depends on how Italian he wants to be, as to how you would pronounce that. We also have Rudikopp, who's not that great, and Kalen Addison. So Kalen Addison is looking all right, as is Shea. But that's not ideal, and in terms of defensive players, there's really nobody great. So let's look at forwards. Tyler Toffoli, we probably don't need you. In terms of prospects, there's nobody that we need. Although, Tamela is looking pretty good. So again, there are a couple of these fringe signings here that could work out pretty well for us. Alcock is a 63 overall low elite, and Valentin Zykov is also there, but yeah. So they're definitely players worth going after. However, there's really only one that's absolutely worth going after. Here's the thing. And here is why I would prefer to offer him a 1-year deal. Because if he's willing to re-sign during the middle of next season, I can use the 85% trick and get him for cheap. Right? So I'm going to risk it. I am going to risk it. Here's the thing. Again, we have $16 million in cap space. I don't really see us... I mean, I could be totally cheap here. And I think I will, to be honest. Because why not? The AI is dumb enough to let him go. I'm going to be dumb enough to cheese this game. Yeah. We have $16 million in cap space. I'm going to make sure I can get him. And I'm going to try like hell to do the 85% trick. Here's where this could backfire. Right? Here's where this could backfire. If he doesn't want to re-sign with us, the 85% trick fails, and this becomes a very hard-to-move contract. In which case, I'd pretty much be forced to re-sign him and keep trying the same damn thing over and over again. But I'm going to go 1 year, $10 million for Henrik Borgstrom in efforts to steal him away from the other teams that are looking to get him. And that brings me back to forwards. We're also going to look to sign Alcock. Of course, all we can do there is throw our name into the hat and hope that he signs. And defensively, we're going to go after Shea and hope that he will sign as well. So the big question is, will Henrik Borgstrom sign with this team? Or, and this could potentially happen, is the term more important to him than the monies? Alcock is signed, which is good. Sandin has signed, Shea has signed, and Henrik Borgstrom has signed. Did I cheese it? You damn right I did. But Henrik Borgstrom is now on this team. He is our new top line, either center or left wing. That is an unbelievably huge signing, which again could backfire. We have had other huge signings in other series that completely backfired and completely screwed me over. It could happen again. It might. It probably will, knowing my luck, but that's okay. At least my luck controlling Canadian teams. They're cursed, I tell you. They're absolutely cursed. Do I want to sign Tamela? I think I do. Why not? Let's get some competition for the old fourth line. Yakov Trenin is there, but he's an RFA, so... Well, actually... On Nashville... you know what? He might be worth... nope, there's someone who's worth it even more. Malkin. 75 overall at 20 years old. Igor Malkin. Where the hell did you come from? And Jakub Lauko. Also half decent. Better than Trenin. So we'll throw our names into the hat with those 3 players. We should get at least 2 out of 3. And then defensively, because why not? Let's bring us as close to 50 contracts as possible. I just can't say your name, so no, that's not going to be a thing. Just because I can't say your name, but we will go for Kalen Addison. And that will do it in terms of our free agent signings. We'll sim to the start of next season. Lord knows trying to set up this roster is going to be a pain. Addison had to reject, and he went to Vegas. Lauko, Malkin have signed. Tamela rejected and went to Carolina, which is okay. So we have brought in some extra depth, not the greatest of depth, but we've brought in some extra depth, and some guy named Henrik Borgstrom, who is, has a higher point total than our leading scorer from last season did, which is kind of embarrassing. But that's okay. Borgstrom is on the team. We added Ian Reagan as well on defense. We traded some of our draft picks for guaranteed prospects that were on other teams' trading block. We picked up some draft picks for next year, and this is why I wasn't dead set on picking up Lafreniere in the draft, because you never know what's going to happen in free agency. And my God, is that a curveball and a half to have Henrik Borgstrom hit the free agent market. Now, depending on what this roster ends up looking like, it could still make sense to go out and get Lafreniere. Get Lafreniere, maybe trade away Matt Duchene. Maybe he's not as big a piece of the puzzle as we would have hoped. Again, the Borgstrom deal could still blow up in my face here, especially if he doesn't want to re-sign. A lot of our future success depends on whether or not he looks to re-sign, and that could easily screw us over. That said, roster moves. What are we looking at here? So goaltenders, Gustafson's a backup, as is Skinner. As far as who gets that backup job, we're going to leave it down to a preseason battle of the ages. And we'll see what happens there. Defensively, Carlson, Montour, Chabot, Dobson is now top four. And then from there, Foote, Trampkin, Rykov, Lajoie, and Saros still aren't quite there. But we'd still have to decide. Foote is absolutely making this team. It's Trampkin, Rykov, Timmins, and Mellock are also both available, and based off of potential, it has to be Connor Timmins. So say hello to our new defense. Carlson and Chabot, Montour, Dobson, Foote, and Timmins. Holy hell, that's a promising defense. We are going to have to obviously sort through the AHL defense, as there's a bit too much talent there, and we will be recouping draft picks. When it comes to the forwards, Borgstrom improved to a 90. Yeah. And Duchene's actually good enough to be on the second line, or bad enough to be on the second line. So that could be incredibly helpful. Forward-wise, oh boy, we got a lot to sort through. You know what? Jump cut. I know, shocking, but I have so much to sort through. Jump cut. All right, so here's the decision that I have come to. Unfortunately, the decision is that I cannot come to a decision. Here's the deal. The top six is easy enough to work out. Fiala, Borgstrom, Stone, Jost, Duchene, and Colin White. We will trade Bobby Ryan. It's simply time for him to go. He does not fit into this team in any way. To make myself feel better, I might retain a little bit of salary. He has 2 years left, so who cares? But Bobby Ryan will, in fact, be traded in the next episode. Here's the problem, though. We have 6 spots for 12 players, and we need to decide what we want the third and fourth line to be. Do we want a third skill line? Do we want a physical line? Or do we want a defensive line? We have enough talent here in these 12 players to have 2 out of the 3. We could have a skill line and a defensive line, a skill line and a physical line, a defensive and a physical line. I'm going to leave that decision up to you guys as far as what the third and fourth line, what their role is on the team. And based on your decisions, that will determine who stays, what players stay. But for now, I simply can't make that decision because I'm unsure myself. What is the best way to go? What is the best way to complement these 6 players in the top 6? Is it to have, hell, we could have 2 more skill lines if we really wanted to. There's enough talent there that we could go with 2 skill lines. Again, a skill and a defensive, a skill and a physical. There are options. So I'm going to leave that up to you. What do you guys think? How should we set up the third and fourth line, knowing that Bobby Ryan is going to be traded. For what? I don't know yet, based on his value and the fact that to trade him in the first place, we're pretty much going to have to retain salary. Defensively, we're set. The one issue, we're a little bit weak on left-handed defensemen. And what I mean by that is we only have one left-handed defenseman. That would be Thomas Chabot. Everybody else is a righty, which we'll see if that's a problem, particularly for the power play. If they're struggling, we could just put an extra left-handed defenseman on the second power play unit. So like the first power play unit would probably be Carlson and Chabot. We could throw a forward onto one of those lines, more than likely with Montour. So the goaltending will be decided through the preseason. We're going to give Gustafsson and Skinner an equal number of games to decide who wins, essentially. Again, we're going to set up the real NHL team. The goaltending battle, we'll figure out who the hell the winner's going to be through that, who will back up Shesterkin this year. The other might be traded just to get the most out of their value. I don't know if I want them wasting away in the AHL. And then forward-wise, again, third line, fourth line, what do we do? What type of line do we have them be? And that way, that'll help me decide what players to keep out of these 12. Other than that, we are set. We're good to go. A couple more minor changes to make, but the big picture will be very clear once I get your feedback on this. And again, in the AHL, we have some very talented players. There's still Bastian, Malkin, Bowers, Gregor, Kotkaniemi, Formenton, Lauko, and Alcock. We'll have to fill out a couple of those spots, but we do still have a ton of defensemen that I'm going to have to trade as well. Trampkin and Rykov will probably be moved, Mellock as well. But from there, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I said we're set. I flat out lied to you. That was a bold-faced lie. We're not set. There are a lot of changes that need to be made, but the first thing I need to know is, what do you guys think the bottom six should look like? So with that, we'll leave this episode for now. In the next episode, trades, and more trades, and we will begin, if not, probably sim through half of the season. I could easily see us getting to trade deadline day if there's a big decision to be made. As well as we look to end this episode, the question of whether or not Borgstrom wants to resign, well, we don't know just yet, but we will find out. We still have a ton of cap space available too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm very much looking forward to your feedback because, again, it's going to flat out decide just how well this, or just how this team shapes up and whether or not that transfers over. And yes, Barzal is still an RFA, and yes, we could sign him for relatively cheap, and yes, we could still technically afford it, kind of, especially if we were to get rid of Bobby Ryan. And just because I know some people will ask, it would take a first and a third. Is that worth it? Yes. Do we want to be overly cheap and also acquire Matt Barzal? Fuck it, let me know what you think. But for now, that'll do it. You know what you can do to support this video and this channel, and I thank you guys so much for the support. I'll be back in the next one. Until then, have a good one, take it easy, and go Sens, because why not? Even as a Bruins fan, which at this point, I'm thinking of rooting for the KHL more than anything. Let's go. Who's an underdog in the KHL? What am I rambling about the KHL for? It's fine. I'm referencing the Bruins and terrible officiating, not just for them. And no, I'm not going to make a video about it. The NHL sucks, but I love you, and that's what's important. Until next time.